Here it is, how I quit smoking. Let me just pull this up. This is all in the Google Doc here, kind of a quick reference on this. So, you can print that out and maybe, use it later. But anyway, that all aligns with this. But we're going to go over how it works, the setup steps, and getting started. These are very high level. So just going to jump into it. A little bit about me. So I'm married. My wife is awesome, Kristen, and our 4 kids are, every day for us. So that's my world. I'm a bass player. I was in a band many years ago, and it did kind of a rock and roll thing. But I love tacos, and skateboards, and I'm aspiring to relive my youth. So it's an ever present challenge. But we love small business. That's what I do professionally. But a little more relevant to what we're doing today, I was an expert level smoker since the age 14, pack a day until I was 47 last year. But I've tried to quit millions of times, it feels like. And, I've decided I need to quit millions of times, right? As all of us do. I also, just sharing a little bit, struggled with alcoholism, drug addiction for quite a while, and was able to overcome that through a lot of kind of rehabilitation and just the kinds of tools that we all have at our fingertips. Finally decided to do something about it. Right. I've gotten to have some experience in that world when it comes to some of the elements, the fundamentals of overcoming an addiction. And this nicotine addiction was hanging on like hell, So it was that was just another interesting kind of aspect in my own experience of like, dude, I've kicked some crazy stuff, and this one it's got me. Like, what the heck? So yeah, that's part of my story too. So all of this is relevant. I don't know, maybe not the tacos and skateboards as much. Anyway, all part of why I needed to quit. And so getting into how it works, really the basics come down to this is what you got to do. This is what it takes, or what it took for me to quit smoking. And so it was, I knew I needed like a specific period of time that I was going to really seriously focus and really try to employ a system or a plan to do this. Right. I knew that I needed to have that. So this consists of 60 or more days of a really serious focus. And in this, we attack with purpose. And we're going to go over each of these elements: mindset, planning, and one more. Yeah, action. I know this sounds like a really, really cheap TED talk, but it's the idea. I want you to be able to take this system and be able to go and apply it to your own effort to quit smoking. Right. So that's the fundamentals of how it works. Each piece we're going to go through now. So I do got some disclaimers here. So first, this is an uncomfortable process, dude. You're going to be uncomfortable for a while, at least 60 days, but this is going to give you the confidence and the plan and really all the tools to be able to win. And so we'll get into all that. With that, this is what worked for me. You might not have the same results. I think it goes without saying, but got to say it. Also, part of this, I was prescribed bupropion, ER, and Nicorette lozenges as part of my quitting smoking process. This was with my doctor, right? And so I'm not a medical professional. I can't advise on this subject, but I definitely recommend you consult with your doctor to determine if this like kind of prescription or over-the-counter medications or supplements can be effective and safe for you. This was an effective part of my system, though, and so definitely got to make sure I mention that. and it's something that you should, probably explore if that's something you're open to. Anyway, that's between you and your doctor. Can't advise you there. And then, of course, with that as well, counseling and therapy. I met with and I meet with a counselor regularly, but especially during the time I was quitting. And I really found it to be incredibly helpful. In fact, I really had that as one of my key components of the system that I employed in quitting smoking. Not necessary in what I'm going to go over today, but something that really, really was impactful for me. Now, I'm, of course, not a mental health professional. I can't advise on the subject. So again, consult with your doctor to determine if that could benefit you. All right, so let's get into it. So we're going to attack with purpose, mindset, planning, and action. Let's go. First, purpose. I started out when I put this together thinking from the perspective of your quitting purpose. Like, you need to identify your quitting purpose. And I thought, no, you know what? Let me share the purpose that really grabbed hold of me, that actually I feel like gave me the greatest motivation to quit smoking and to continue not lighting up and not smoking every single time I was presented with the opportunity, more than any other purpose that I've felt or thought about or have been conscious of when it comes to, do I, want to light up or not? This particular purpose, I feel like if you got a fighting chance, this purpose is highly likely to be something that will really grab hold of you. I hope. But here it is. So our quitting purpose, here's the thing. Smoking, it keeps you inactive and disconnected, right? And being inactive as a human being and being disconnected as a father, a husband, a friend, a coworker, right? That can lead you to feel guilty, right? It definitely does for me, right? When I'm outside smoking instead of hanging out with my kids talking about, whatever dumb video game it is that they're into, or whatever the things are, the memories and all of the connections and the relationships and the opportunities, even in business, that I'm missing out on, leaves me feeling guilty, feeling like I'm missing something critical. And that of course leads to depression, anger, stress, all of these things that compound and of course cause me to want to smoke more. But at the end of the day, this is all affecting my mental, physical health and my overall quality of life and really my future and everything I want to do in life, right? So my purpose, our purpose, is anchored in these pillars. Where do you want to go in life, right? Where do you want to be? What do you want to be doing in the future? Even if it's just the vision of you, like, sitting at the dinner table at Thanksgiving with the grandkids and like just being able to be there for that. Or maybe it's something more detailed, but really understanding where you want to go in life is going to help solidify that purpose, right? Being clear about what is most important to you, right? This might be your wife, your kids. It might be your job. It might be your car, right? What's going to happen to those things if you don't do the things you need to do to take care of your mental and physical health, right? Mm-hmm. Quality of life. It might be your car. It might be your family, right? Those things will be impacted. And then who do you want to be, right? Really, when it comes down to your values and how people see you and how you show up and how you're able to really be available to give, to feed into other people, that all directly affects your mental and physical health and is super important, right? So these are some things we're going to come back to as we go through this. But here's the concept. When you change your identity, your habits will follow, right? So where do you want to go in life? I want to go to a place where I'm not smoking, where I'm not taking a smoke break from the Thanksgiving dinner table, where I'm not missing out on those special moments with my grandkids or with coworkers at the awesome event or whatever it is, right? When you begin to identify as someone who used to smoke, someone who no longer smokes, your actions and your habits will begin to follow. So keeping these questions front of mind as it relates to your identity and your purpose is really, really super important, right? And so you're going to write these things down. They're always going to be front of mind multiple times a day for you in this process. So here we go. How do we put those things into action? Oh man, this is so fun because I really had to, work on this over a period of time and bringing it all together into this, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Oh wait, no, then I'm going to do this and that, and it all came together, and this is how it works. So you need to set some things up in order to execute this plan. So first, here we go. Step one, you need to choose a non-smoking start date. I recommend that it be about 30 days from today. If today you're sitting here going, I'm deciding that I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to try this thing no matter what, then awesome. I would say about 30 days from today is probably a good date. Just because of how I'm going to move you into the next steps of setting up and all that. But really it's a matter of just picking that day, and we're going to plan everything around that day. Okay. So it doesn't have to be 30 days, but if you're ready to go, that would be the day to set as your date. Step two, you're going to identify your non-smoking practice start date. That's right. And this is going to be 14 days before your start date, exactly 2 weeks. Okay. So that's step two. Step three, you want to go get some resources. So with this, we're putting a plan together, right? And this is one of the greatest, strongest, most diabolical enemies you've ever faced in your entire life and you will ever face. So we need to attack it with every weapon that we have at our disposal. So we're going to plan our attack, when we're going to attack, right? And we're going to have some really awesome tools and weapons to help us do it. So there's this killer resource, smokefree.gov/smokefreetext. This is a government, federal government provided program. And if you just text quit to that number, actually, you can sign up for this text messaging kind of quitting sort of motivational sort of system. It's really awesome. Like it and it's very simple, but it's a key little component in this overall plan. And you'll get a text just kind of randomly like, hey, how's it going? Did you smoke today? Reply yes or no. And it does a little kind of a choose your own adventure sort of, text interaction with you. And it's really, really awesome because if you did smoke, it's okay. It's all right. We're going to get into that. But this is a really, really awesome tool to help you. That's just going to keep what you're doing front of mind and keep you engaged with the habits that you need to do. All right. So again, I mentioned counseling, whether you're seeing a professional counselor in person, or you're talking with a counselor that is available for free at this website. It's another government provided resource. I definitely recommend just connecting with somebody at that kind of a resource to get someone to be another cheerleader in your corner. You're going to need every cheerleader you can get, and you're going to need every resource and every bit of strategy that you can get. So connecting with people who are there to help you quit, and these people are really awesome. Definitely recommend tapping into that. But with your employer, you might have like an employee assistance program, an EAP kind of thing. A lot of times those provide smoking cessation resources and counseling services. So things to look into there. So definitely recommend connecting with a trained counselor. Here's kind of what that looks like. They've got a live chat there on that website too. It's pretty awesome. Definitely recommend that. So that's that. Also, join a community. I joined, some different Facebook groups, and there's some links to other communities there as well. But just really great to kind of, again, have more cheerleaders. So there you go. Those are the setup steps for that. There you go. There's your community, all the great resources there. So pretty awesome. Now, step 4 is the journal setup. This thing is going to be your best friend. It's going to be with you everywhere you go. And for at least a good 14 days. Well, we'll get into that. So let's get into the journal setup. So first of all, you want to get yourself a journal. If you've been to a trade show, you probably got one of these, but yeah, get yourself a blank journal or just a notebook, something to write in, but something that you can, kind of easily keep handy and keep with you, because you're going to want to keep this with you. Now, you might be asking, what about like a mobile app or something? Can I use like a note taker or something like that? No. This needs to be your hand physically writing into a journal that you keep with you, that is something you're opening up. Like you need to have a dialogue with this thing. This is your partner, your sidekick in quitting smoking. So here we go. So the journal setup, there's going to be a few different pieces here. So there's a morning, daytime, and evening routine that we're going to document here. Your MMs and your AAs, we'll get into that. Your practice tracker, and that's it. Here we go. So yeah, so in the journal, page 1, you're going to write morning routine. And here we go. This is what you're going to write out. Under morning routine, you're going to write 1, meditate, breathe, and awaken. 2, embrace gratitude. And 3, going to be to ask yourself, where do you want to go in life? What is important to you? And who do you want to be? Sound familiar? Yeah. And then 4, so look in the mirror and say to yourself, Matt, you can be who you want to be. You can do this. You've done harder. Now, you might come up with your own kind of version of that, but this is something that needs to be a cemented routine every single morning for you. And this is critical and foundational in setting your mindset for the day. And then number 5 is to exercise and eat something healthy. Okay, now you can do a micro version of these things. If exercise is like, I'm going to do 1 push-up. Awesome. Do it. That's your exercising. Check the box. You're good, right? Doesn't matter. Do something. But you're going to check each of these off, right? And so if you're like, meditate, man, sounds like some weird hippie crap, dude. I'm not into that. I don't care. This works. You have to do it. And I'm going to show you what you can do that's really, really easy. If you've got meditations that you do already, fantastic. Then you're already, ahead of the game on this. But this is super, super important, right? Because we're cleaning our mental engine every morning with this activity. So and you might be like, man, I barely have time to spring out of bed, go have a smoke, and get myself ready and shower and get going out the door or whatever and deal with all the things. I know, dude. But there's a purpose, right? Remember our purpose. Where do you want to go in life? What is important to you? Who do you want to be? We got to constantly be reminding ourselves of those things as part of this system, dude. Right? Because your brain is going to fight against these better versions of yourself constantly. So there we go. That's the morning routine. So then also on page 1, you're going to write midday pauses. That's 1, relax your body and breathe deeply through your nose for 1 minute. And that's basically 5.5 seconds in, 5.5 seconds out, 6 times. 5 times? Whatever. A few times. 1 minute. Then you're going to notice your thoughts and emotions for 1 minute. You're going to make note of your positive thoughts. You're going to turn around your negative thoughts. So I got some examples of that for you. You're going to share your positive thoughts with others. And then we're going to write down an evening routine. And this is going to sound familiar, but you're going to ask yourself, where do you want to go in life? What is important to you? Who do you want to be? You're going to look in the mirror and say to yourself, Matt, you can be better. You can be who you want to be. You can do this. You've done harder, right? This is just planting this as a regular practice every single day, morning and during the day and at night. And this may sound really simplistic, and you may be like, man, this seems kind of like some I don't know, maybe kind of childish, even like having this sort of a routine. Fine if you think that, but I'm telling you, it works because it locks you into behaviors that are reinforcing the things you need to actually win over this thing. It only works every time, in my experience. So here we go. Going on with it. Exercise, eat something healthy. Again, could be 1 push-up and one piece of broccoli. I don't know, but embrace gratitude, and you're going to write a note to yourself to do your morning routine, and you're going to leave that by your bed. So it's the first thing you see when you wake up is a reminder from you to do your morning routine, because that anxiety is going to take your brain first, and you're going to forget all about the morning routine, and you're going to be on your way out the door and go, dang it, crap, now I'm smoking again. There we go. So anyway, we'll get into that. Okay, and then number 6, meditate, breathe, and sleep. Good sleep is an essential part of this program. So now we're going to get to the MMs and the AAs, step 2 in the journal setup. So MMs, these are major moments. So on page 2, you're going to write down the most common circumstances or times when you consistently or habitually smoke, right? So this might be when you first wake up, might be when you're driving, might be, after a stressful meeting at work. It might be after a meal. It might be right before you go to bed. It might be at 2 a.m. when you wake up. Who knows, right? That's you've got, most of us have these consistent times. It's pretty trigger, those trigger moments. So you want to write those down on page 2 under major moments. You're going to list them out and really identify all those times that you can think of when you pretty much always want to go and smoke. Then the AAs. These are alternative activities. So continuing on page 2, or on page 3 if you need that much room, you might, I don't know. But you're going to, under each major moment, you're going to begin to come up with and write down 2 or 3 alternative activities. And these are things that you can do instead of smoking in those circumstances, in those scenarios, right? So if it's right after a big meal, maybe a toothpick is something that will work for you. Maybe instead of smoking in the car, you intentionally listen to a podcast that you've been meaning to check out, or an audiobook, right? Do something consciously that replaces that habit. Yeah, for example, short walk, simple stretches, candy, gum, flavored toothpicks, fidget spinner, reading a book or a blog, listening to a podcast or audiobook, meditating, play a game on your smartphone. It's okay to replace one bad habit with a slightly less bad habit, I think. So yeah, whatever works. So you want to try and write at least one under each major moment, one alternative activity. So this is part of the system. All kinds of things. We're going to get into that in a moment, but yeah, something to think about. It's also good to make practical changes to your environment. These are in ways that'll help you to more effectively mitigate the major moments and enable the alternative activities, right? So with the candy, it's like, having a giant bag of Jolly Ranchers nearby at all times was an essential change to my environment. Moving my office inside from my man cave into my bedroom where I'm not allowed to smoke, another major change. So many ways to get creative with that, but the simple alternative activities, things like gum, toothpicks, mints, doing something else consciously, really critical. So we'll get into that some more. All right, here we go. More into the practice tracker. All right, this gets really fun. So on the next blank page, you're going to write at the top, practice tracker. And at the top of that, you're going to write the name of the day and the date of your non-smoking practice start date. Okay? And then you're going to skip 8 lines, and you're going to write the name of the day and date of the next day. And you're going to continue on and so forth until you've written all 14 days and dates of your practice time frame, right, leading up to your practice or your quit smoking start date, all the way through the journal. Okay? And then on the 8 lines under each of those dates, you're going to write this: 12 a.m. to 3 a.m., 3 a.m. to 6, 6 to 9, 9 to 12, 12 to 3, so on through to 12 a.m. Okay? So you're going to have the day and the date, and then each of those kind of time slots or blocks, if you will, below that. Okay, this is our practice tracker. Here we go. This is super fun. So we'll come back to that and how to use that, all the stuff that we just went through, how to set up, right? So you've kind of got like all these tools sort of set up here and kind of a bit of a tool box, if you will. Now, how to use the tools and how to go forward and actually do this thing. Next piece is mindset. And this is stuff that you're going to have to constantly come back to, right? But these are the fundamentals that really make all the tools super effective. So here we go. So mindset consists of your team players, meditation, gratitude, midday pauses, practice mindset, and mindfulness and awareness. So let's go through it here. So your team players, remember I was mentioning before, you need cheerleaders. So you need more than one for sure. Here's kind of who you should be looking for as cheerleaders, right? Who do you trust? Yeah, probably an obvious one. Who knows your dirty laundry? Yeah, there's probably a couple of people out there. Who's immune to your BS? Yep, right. Who's not going to accept excuses from you? But who also loves you and can be kind? These might be different people, but you want to have all of them in your corner. And then who also maybe has struggled with but succeeded in quitting smoking? Yeah, remember, there's this too when it comes to having people in your corner and team players, right? So there's that. All right. Next piece of mindset is meditation. So check this out. I love this stuff. Meditation, if you're not familiar, if you're not doing it already, this really is a powerful, powerful tool. And before I quit smoking, I wasn't really like into meditating. You know, I recognized its benefits and wasn't against it, but it wasn't until this point that I really employed it as a daily practice, and often multiple times a day, as something that's really been essential in me quitting smoking and having so many other areas of my life get better just over the last year or so. So I can't say enough how essential this is. Do not overlook it if it's something you're kind of questioning. Man, just get over that as quick as you can, because it does reduce your stress and anxiety. It anchors your mental and your emotional strength and your energy only every time. And it gives you power over the mental and physical temptation to smoke. You've got to have that. Without this, you really, you don't have a fighting chance. And then again, like I mentioned, getting good sleep is critical to this process. So meditating helps you to get more of that restorative sleep. So I recommend, you don't already have something, the Better Sleep app. This is there's a free version of it, but I recommend you pay for it. I can give you there's a link. It's like an affiliate link. I don't know if I get anything for it, but whatever. It's so awesome. I've got my kids on it, my wife on it. We do this, like, I do it every day. I try and get them to do it as often as possible, but it's not just good for like sleeping. It's good for, morning and day meditation and cool music and sounds. And it's just an easy, simple tool to get this meditation in. And I recommend for your morning meditation that we wrote that down, right? The morning ocean breath is a really cool one in there. And then for at night, going to sleep, the ocean waves, sleep hypnosis is pretty amazing. But yeah, there's that link. Definitely recommend using that. Now, there's also, some really great free meditations out there. Lavender is my wife and I, we really like her meditation videos. So there's a 5-minute morning meditation and a sleep meditation. So, find what works for you, what you like, but do not neglect to do this and to make it part of your daily routine, because it, like I said, really it's essential. I don't think you can do this without it. All right. Another element of mindset is gratitude. So I want you to think about this, and this is something you need to really, maybe even write down if you need to, but this is part of your morning and evening routines, right? That we wrote down in the journal. So here's what I recommend you do for gratitude. If you don't have any other words, if you can't find the words to express gratitude in your mind, here's some good ones. And I like to do this one every morning as I go out into the world, or am going into work or wherever it is. I say, thank you for this place. Thank you for these people. Thank you for opportunities above and beyond my wildest dreams. And this may be a prayer for you. It may just be kind of an internal, meditative statement, but this is, really what it's all about, right? The gratitude is just being grateful for what, what's all around you. And so definitely want to do that. And then something else to think about is who you are grateful for, right? As you're going through this part of the morning and evening routines, be just thinking about and picturing the people that you're grateful for, and think about why you're grateful for them. Also, I'd love to think about, what are the best things about you as a result or part of your connection to those people, right? That's a lot of fun to think about, and just really, really, man, I mean, nothing makes you feel better when you're thinking about the people in your life in that way. And again, this is part of your morning and evening routines and your meditations. So really, really powerful stuff. Okay, moving on. So midday pauses. This is a practice that I actually got from the CEO at my company. It's something that he does to really just kind of reinvigorate the practice from his morning routine, right? It really kind of brings back the energy and the feeling of peace and confidence and hopefulness, really, that comes out of that morning routine. That's super essential. So you're just really kind of just firing that back up. So the midday pause, here it is from claytonmask.com. Recommend you go over there. So one, you're going to do this 3 times daily. All right. So this is the Clayton Mask midday pause. You're going to relax your body and breathe deeply through your nose for 1 minute. You're going to inhale for 5.5 seconds and exhale for 5.5 seconds, and repeat that 5 times. There it is, 5 times. And that will take 1 minute. So from there, you're going to notice your thoughts and emotions for 1 minute and slow things down. Okay. So think about, what positive thoughts are you having? What negative thoughts are you having? Okay. And so what you want to do is make note of the positive thoughts that are causing you to feel grateful, excited, and happy about your day. And we'll do something with those thoughts in just a minute, but you're going to then take those negative thoughts and turn them around using the following ABC hack. All right. And the ABC hack is: A, ask yourself if the negative thought is really true. B, be mindful of how you show up when you accept the negative thought is true. And C, change the thought, even if just slightly, so that you are less affected by the thought. And 180-degree change is best, but even small changes help, like we were talking about before. So then the last step is to share your positive thoughts with others. And as you accentuate those positive thoughts, you'll build more emotions of gratitude and excitement that are going to energize you and others. All right. So that's the midday pause part of mindset. All right. Now on to practice. How do we start to actually do this thing? So with mindset, practice mindset is founded in this: nobody is great at anything at first. We all know this, duh, right? But it's super important to understand this and to keep this front of mind and be very conscious of it. Nobody's great at anything at first. You're not going to be great at this at first. Probably going to screw it up. That's why we have practice, right? We understand this fundamentally in everyday life, and in football, it's obvious, right? And here's something to think about with that. There's no booing at practice, right? There's nobody booing the team when they screw up at practice. When the receiver goes out for a pass and drops it, no one's booing, no one's upset. The team's not upset at him for losing the championship, right? No, it's part of practice. Dropping it 100 times ensures that you're going to have a much better chance of catching it on the 101st time, right? And so that's what you got to really understand, is that you are practicing. And so that's essential here. With that, there are also no trophies when you win, right? Don't expect a big, parade when you successfully don't smoke for a whole day or a week or a month, right? Don't expect that. You just got to understand, this is always practice forever and ever. Okay. And there's just steady improvement. That's all this is. That's all it is, because really quitting smoking, not smoking is just a result of your mindset. It's just a result of these other things that you're putting in place and how well they're working, right? And so we're going to force some good habits in a really kind of excessive way, but it's all building so that you cannot get off track. It's got guardrails in place. Do that journal, and we're going to do that. So, yeah, like I said, whether you catch the ball or drop it, no one's booing, no one's cheering. You got this. It's all you. But those cheerleaders are essential, right? Those people we talked about, your team players, because they're the ones that you're going to be there to share those wins with. So here we go. With practice, here's the key. You want to use a system and keep using it, so that especially when you fall, you can get back up and get back to work on improving, right? So when you fall off, you know exactly where to get back on. It's not like, oh, shoot, I failed and I got to figure out how to get started again. No, you got to have a system that you use and keep using it. And again, expect and allow falls. You want to take note of them and learn, but don't ever look at it as a failure, right? That's the idea. So here's what we're doing. This is key too in the practicing mindset is we're mastering delayed relief. Think about running laps at any athletic practice, right? Like how much of an exercise in mastering delayed relief is that, right? That's all we're doing. That's all that, extra 10 minutes of not smoking is mastering, delaying that relief. So you're embracing growth in the form of regular and familiar discomfort. I told you it's going to be uncomfortable. That discomfort it comes with a reward. It comes with a big reward. So we like that. It's part of the process, part of practicing discomfort. And we're strengthening constantly through the repetition of positive and productive habits, right? So you got to recognize that. It's like, how long does it take to get in shape? No one knows, but we know it works 100% of the time. That's what we're doing. We're just repeating positive, productive habits that are going to give us what we are getting into this for. And we want to illuminate successes off the field between you and your team players, right? There's no, crowd or trophy or any of that. It's you and your team players. So be sure you're illuminating those successes with your team players. And this right here, this is what successful practice looks like. And this is just how you play the game as well. So mindfulness and awareness, this is what brings it all together. This is the glue that holds the mindset machine together. So here we go. So this is your ultimate armor against that temptation. All right. So you're going to, again, remind yourself constantly of the pillars of our purpose, where you want to go in life, what's important to you, who you want to be. And remember, you change your identity, your mindset around your identity, your habits are going to follow as well, right? So all of that just wraps up those habits. So here's how we actually get started and practice the practice. We're going to take this morning routine, the midday pauses, the evening routine. You're going to actually do this every day. You've got it written down in your journal. So now you just go to that journal and go, well, it's morning. What do I do? Well, there you go. There's your checklist. You do that checklist, all of it, every morning in the form that works for you. Even if you got to come up with a 5-minute version of this thing, do that. Do something. You got to have that morning routine. And so we're going to do that. The morning, the major moments and the alternative activities. So you're constantly going to be aware of these. You've written them down, right? You've written them down. You've documented them. You have cemented them in the ethos of the universe, dude. You have to have a dialogue with these things now, right? And so you're going to be constantly aware of those major moments, the times when you're most likely to smoke, and you're going to have those alternative activities ready to go, front of mind and right at your fingertips every time that those major moments come around, right? So you're going to be ready to go, ready to defend against those temptations. So here we go. The practice tracker. This is where you're going to see yourself being successful. And this is where you're going to set yourself up to actually quit on your scheduled quit day. Okay. So we're going to tally, delay, skip, and win. Check it out. So every time you smoke, you're going to go into your journal where we wrote those date and time blocks, the 12 a.m. to 3 a.m., on down the page. You're going to tally and put a little tick mark each time you smoke in the date and time block in your journal. All right. So it's going to look like this. You're going to have documentation of every time you smoke. And it's not hard to do. Because all you got to do is open the page and go tick, and then you're good to go. And smoke your brains out. Doesn't matter, because we're practicing. You can drop as many balls as you want. No one's going to care, right? But you are going to see in this journal, in these tick marks, you're going to be able to see your own power, your own ability to delay or skip smoking whenever you want in micro little pieces. And at the end of a day, at the end of a week, you're going to look at that and go, dude, I have the power. I have the power. Now it hasn't killed me at all because I've kept smoking this whole time. But I've been doing my morning routine. I've been doing my midday pause. I've been doing my evening routine. I've been keeping mind of those major moments and actually taking action with my alternative activities. And I'm keeping track when I smoke for 2 weeks as I'm just practicing the real quit day when I actually quit smoking. And now you see, I can do this. I can actually do this. From 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., instead of having 4 or 5 smokes, I only had 2 on that day. What did I do that allowed me? What alternative activities was I doing that was allowing me to be successful in not smoking those extra 2 smokes in that 3-hour period? Oh my gosh, I got this. Holy crap, I got this, dude. I can actually quit. And so as you do that, you're just measuring, kind of like taking your pulse, right? This isn't like, getting framed anywhere. It's not getting posted on the internet for everyone to judge you and shame you or celebrate you. No, right? You're just practicing. And so the delayed or skipped smokes can be more easily seen and controlled from your perspective. And you know it because, look, you just wrote it down. So the lower tallies in all time blocks is the ultimate goal, but you're going to take it one block at a time and just find many small successes with every delay and skip. You're going to give yourself the mental power and the mental motivation, encouragement in the quitting of smoking by showing yourself that you're doing it and you're good at it. So many small successes in practice lead to the big win at game time, that's your quit day. You stop smoking is the ultimate delay for the rest of your wonderful new life. So this is what it's going to look like, that practicing, right? So when you get to that quit day, you don't need any more like, am I able to do this? Can I do it? Is it, am I doing the right thing? And you're going to be 2 weeks in on showing yourself every day that you have control over this thing, and you've got the tools and you've got the team players and you've got the mindset that makes it happen. You're able to execute it. So by the time quit day comes, you got this, man. The training wheels are off. Dad let go of the seat and you're off riding down the street, ready to take over the world, right? And never look back. So here are the next steps. So again, choose your non-smoking start date. Again, about 30 days from today. And you got to identify that practice start date 2 weeks before and get all those resources, right? All the good stuff. You're going to set up the journal and you're going to start practicing as the practice start date approaches even, right? Like maybe your quit date is 60 days from today. And then that practice start date is, a couple weeks out. Start practicing now. So again, that's the morning, daytime, and evening routines, the major moments, the alternative activities, the practice tracker, and identify the team players. Get those people, right? And so again, schedule an appointment with your doctor if you're considering you need more information about medication or mental health services. That, again, was really an essential part of my master plan right? I didn't just send the Navy to attack the enemy. I sent the Navy, the Marines, the Army, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, even the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts were sent in with, yeah, that's right. So, yeah, like I said, take this, you got it fresh in your mind and fresh in, on paper, and you're ready, to go. Start practicing as soon as you can. And again, this is all about many small successes in practice that lead to that big win at game time, the quit day, so you can stop smoking for the rest of your wonderful new life. Here it is. You can be who you want to be. You can do this. You've done harder. It's time to quit. It's time to quit. You got it. And that is how I did it.